we're doing our first article and our first video for the Portuguese news. I wanted to ask you, what do you think is so special about Portugal, and why do so many people have a pull to move there? Especially for a lot of people, it's later in life as well, isn't it?
That's a beautiful place to begin. Portugal isn't loud about what it is. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't sell itself the way other places do. It just waits. Geographically, it sits at the edge of Europe, the last stretch of land before the Atlantic opens wide. For centuries, people stood here staring into the unknown. Exploration began from these shores. That energy of ending and beginning at the same time is woven into the culture. And later in life, that's exactly what many people are doing. They're not just relocating. They're crossing a threshold. Retirement, reinvention, a softer chapter. Portugal mirrors that inner shift. It moves at a human pace. Conversations are longer, meals are shared. The light feels different, softer, almost reflective. There's also a deep layering here. Celtic traces, Roman roads, Moorish architecture, pilgrimage routes, Fatima, fishing villages that haven't rushed to modernize their soul. It's a place where history sits quietly beside everyday life. And the Atlantic, that matters. Living by such a vast horizon humbles you. It rearranges perspective, worries shrink, time stretches. So perhaps the pull people feel isn't mystical in a dramatic way. It's something gentler, a recognition, a sense that this land allows you to slow down, to integrate your life rather than outrun it. But I'm curious, Stacey, when you first felt drawn to Portugal, did it feel like escape or like return?
Oh, definitely like return. I love the culture in Portugal. I love the sunshine, obviously. Even just being by the water, you know, the dolphins, it feels very, very different out there than it does from being in the UK, maybe. And what do you think is your favourite sacred site in Portugal?
You said it, not escape. That's important. Portugal doesn't feel like running away. It feels like exhaling. The light hits differently. The ocean isn't decorative, it's alive. Even the dolphins feel symbolic somehow, don't they? Like reminders that joy still exists in the wild. Now, favorite sacred site. I wouldn't say sacred in the dramatic sense. Sacred in the quiet, enduring sense. Sintra. Not because it's mystical Instagram bait, but because it's layered. Forests wrapped in mist. Moorish walls, palaces built on ancient hills. It feels like a place where imagination was allowed to breathe. There's something about elevated ground surrounded by ocean air that has always drawn humans. Long before tourism, long before palaces, people chose those hills for a reason. But honestly, Portugal's sacredness isn't locked in one site. It's in small chapels, in fishing villages. It's in the pilgrimage to Fatima. It's in sitting at a cafe at sunset while church bells ring. Sacred doesn't always mean spectacular. Sometimes it just means presence. But let me ask you something back. When you say it feels different from the UK, is it the pace, the people, or the feeling in your body that changes?
I guess it is the pace and the people, but yeah, it is the feeling in your body that changes. I would say it's quite different from other places that I have been, you know. You don't feel kind of like you're going on a holiday. You do feel like you're kind of returning to your natural rhythm, I would guess. Why do you think it does that to people?
Because Portugal hasn't severed its human rhythm. That's the simplest answer. In a lot of modern places, especially somewhere like the UK, life runs on productivity, urgency, and subtle social pressure. There's a background hum of keep up. Your nervous system never fully lands. Portugal still moves in cycles. Morning coffee isn't rushed. Lunch is a pause, not a refuel. Evenings stretch. Sundays are quiet. People still sit outside and talk without needing a reason. That does something to the body. It tells it, you're safe enough to slow down. And when the body feels safe, your natural rhythm returns. Then there's the Atlantic. Wide horizons regulate the nervous system, whether people realize it or not. Humans evolved near water, near open sky. When you can see far, your system unwinds. The dolphins, the salt air, the long light, it pulls you back into something older than deadlines. And culturally, Portugal carries humility. It has history, but it doesn't shout about it. There's pride without aggression. That creates space. And when there's space, people meet themselves again. So maybe it's not that Portugal does something dramatic to people. Maybe it removes just enough pressure for them to feel like themselves again, and that feels like return. Tell me something When you're there, do you feel more creative or more peaceful?
More creative and more peaceful. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.